Okay, hello and good morning. Let's talk about today's work. Okay, first of all, we're done with this 9 weeks. Okay, you have till Sunday to take a test on quadratics. It must be done by Sunday. No excuses. You had enough time from Wednesday to Sunday, so make sure it's done. Bell work and homework, everything is due. This is the end of the marking period. Solve these systems of equations. Here's how you do it. Since you already have x by itself, that is one of the answers. So x is -3. Now you're going to plug it in right here. So -3 plus 2 is a -1, and you're done. That's the easiest one you're going to get. Let's look at the next one. The next one's a little harder. Okay, here's what you're going to do. You got to look for a variable that's by itself. This one has a number. Those are called coefficients. This one doesn't, so we're going to get x by itself by moving this to the other side. So we're going to get x equals a -7y. Once you get x, you're going to take it and substitute into the other equation. So you're going to have 2 times your substitute, and that's going to be a -7y. Now notice what happens here. You should have all of the same variable. In this case, we have y's. If you have x's and y's, you put it in the wrong spot. So this is a -14y minus 8y is equal to 22. These are like terms, so you're going to add that up and get a -22y is equal to 22. You're going to divide by -22, and you're going to get y is equal to a -1. Once you get y, you plug it in up here, scratch that out. So it's going to be -7 times -1, which gives me a +7, and we're done. If you want, you could plug them in here and see if you get 0, or plug them in here and see if you get 22. Technically, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm not going to make you check them. The answers are on the page. Today's work is systems of equations, and that is right here. So if you can't find it, you can always come back to the video. Okay, make sure you get your work done and get your grades up. All tests are open. This right here, let's turn our attention to geometry. All right, so with geometry, all bell work, you should have only 9 pages, is due. All homework for the week is due, and Chapter 10 tests, you must take that by Sunday. No excuses. If I get an email from you next week and you say, oh, I couldn't do it, sorry. You have a 0 on that test, and that's the way it is. All right, so by Sunday. This one says find surface area and volume. Well, volume is the easiest. So volume is big B times h, but big B is a circle. So that's going to be substituted with pi radius squared, and the height is 10. So pi is 3.14. The radius here is from the center out, so that's 5 times 5 times 10. So you get your calculator and you multiply that out. Okay? And when you do, you will have your answer. So let's take a look at that and see what we get. All right. So on this one right here, multiply that out, see what you get, and I'll catch up with you. All right, so let's try it. 5 times 5 is 25 times 10 is 250. So 250 times 3.14, I get 785. And this is volume, so it's 785 square inches. Actually, it's cubic because it's volume. Surface area, you have 2 circles, plus you have some rectangle in here. Okay, so one circle is pi radius squared, but you have 2. And then the rectangle is going to be the height times circumference. So plus the height, which is 10, and the circumference is pi times diameter. So pi times diameter. The diameter is 10. The diameter is the big one. Okay? So you substitute and you get your answer. So 2 times 3.14. I'm going to leave it in terms of pi because it's a little easier for me. And then the radius squared, so that's 5 times 5 plus 10 times pi times 10. Let's see what happens. This is 25 times 2 is 50 pi. This one right here is going to be 100 pi. When you add that up, you get 150 pi. That's much easier. But to figure out the real answer, you take 150 times 3.14, and you get 471. So if you got 471, then you know what you're doing. It's area, so it's squared. It's the second dimension. Let's talk about today's work. Here is today's work, okay, in case you can't find it. It's on video. Now let's talk about this work. You have some rules, and so I want you to write down these rules right now. Okay, we're going to go over them also. So copy down those rules, and here we go. If you reflect it over the x-axis, you change the y. This one says reflect over the y-axis, and here's how I want you to do it. I want you to take each one of these points, and if you don't do it this way, you're not going to get credit. Let's try to put it in alphabetical order, and I can't quite see them all. All right, so you're going to do H, M, Z, and I can't quite make out that other one. I'm going to say B. I'm not sure. It's a little small. All right, so I want you to label where the points are. So this point is over. You got to start at the origin. 1, 2, 3, but that's a negative and then up. So negative, 3, up, 1. And then you're going to change them all. Prime, M prime, Z prime, and H prime. So the new point, and you can draw a line there, according to this, you're reflecting it over the y-axis, so you're going to go this way. So that's going to change the x. So you want to change the x. So the new point is going to be over 3, up 1. Okay? So follow your rules. This one right here says translate. So you're going to write all your points, and then you're going to write your new points, your prime points. Okay, and I want it exactly like this. Okay, so point D is a negative 2, up 1, and then you're going to translate it 1 unit to the left. If you go right or left, it changes the x. So you're going to add 1 here, and then you go on 2 units up, so that's going to be a plus 2. If you go down, it would be a minus 2. So the new point would be negative 2 plus 1 is a negative 1, and then 2 plus 1 is 3. So again, I want you to write all the points, and then I want you to do whatever they say. So in this case, you're taking this point, and you're going 1 unit to the left, and then you're going up 2. So your new point's right there. Okay, this one you're going to the left, 1, and then up 2. That new point is here. This one you're going to go to the left and up. This one you're going to go to the left and up, and there it is. So the way it looks is like that. So you slit it over and then up 2. Okay? So I do want you to regraph them too. So you got a little bit of work to do here. All right, so that's translations. Reflection over the y-axis. Here's the rule. If you reflect it over the y-axis, you change the x. So you're going to write all the points, and then you're going to write the reflection. If you reflect over the y, you change the x. So this point is negative 1, up 0. So negative 1, up 0, and then if you reflect it over the y, you got to change the x's. So that's going to be 1 and 0. This is on the EOC, so make sure you do this. This one, what you're doing is you're subtracting 4 from all the x's, and you're adding 5 to all the y's. So when you get this point right here, which is over 2, up 0, you're going to, your new point is going to be, you're going to add a -4 to that. So that's going to be 2 minus 4. That's going to be a -2. And then you're going to add 0 and get 5. Okay, so I want the original point and the new point. Original, new. And that's how I want this worksheet. On the back side, I think you have some rotations. Okay. It's all there. All the rules are there. Now this one you got to figure out what they're doing. It looks like, remember, the M is the original and the M prime is the new. So this is the old. This is the new. So you got to identify which one's the old. This one you're moving it to the right, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going up 0. So it's a translation because you're sliding it, and you're going to go ahead and the X, you're going to go ahead and add 1, 2, 3, and the Y you're going to add 0. You're not changing the Y. Okay? So on this bottom part, you got to figure out what they did. Okay, that's it, and I'll see you in class.